Hello, everybody. This is Swati live from Los Angeles. It's 7 p.m., August 31st, Monday. We have just about a few more days left to finish our camp, but we are going to cover all the ground that I had planned, things that I think you will benefit you in your daily life. And one of these things, obviously, is the feeling awareness meditation. We started it yesterday, and I would like to continue it today and hopefully for a couple of more days. I will get into the open awareness meditation, but first let's just talk about feeling awareness meditation. In order to be able to do feeling awareness meditations, you need to have a background of having the breath awareness and body awareness meditations, as well as the other types of feelings that we were adding. So we have been following this course the way it should. Feeling awareness is not as easy as it sounds unless you have the whole background that you have had. First of all, we need to recognize the feeling. And like I said yesterday, you go through a cycle of first knowing what feeling you're feeling, then labeling it. And then from mind, you go to the body level. You start you start noticing how it feels like in the body. You're simply observing it. And then you decide, is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? And you keep repeating to yourself, pleasant, pleasant, this is pleasant, and then again go through the whole cycle and then see if it is still pleasant or if it has changed to neutral or whatever has happened. So we are going to do this meditation one more time towards the end of our session. But before we get into the meditation, I would like to mention two personalities very different from each other, but they're both, I think, good reads. The first one is not an easy read, and the second one is a book that you would probably start and then you would like it and it will be easy to read. So I'm giving it to the people who want to really get deep into mindfulness. The book is called Mindfulness, A Practical Guide to Awakening. Now, the awakening here is spiritual awakening. And it's a thick book written by Joseph Goldstein. Joseph Goldstein, I immensely respect him. I love his talks. Joseph Goldstein, Sharon Salzberg, Jack Confield were the three people who had gone to India, Thailand, Nepal, and these countries. They had lived there for a few years as monks, learning ideas from Buddhist teachings. When they came back, they started the Insight Meditation Society in Barre, Massachusetts. Joseph Goldstein is one of the main people who live on campus, who actually still can be said that he is almost like a monk, but not in the robes. Extremely well respected teacher. And Joseph Goldstein has been teaching mindfulness meditation and related ideas for almost 40 years. And whatever the book talks about is whatever he has learned in 40 years of teaching. So again, it's not an easy read. It's something you would like to get into if you want to get deeper into mindfulness. And if you do want to do that, I highly recommend this book. Joseph Goldstein also has talks on the website called Dharma Seed. This is a website that offers different talks. The talks are free, but the website asks you to donate. Whatever you can donate will help them. It could be $5, $10, $100, or upwards. So I would like to share that link with you to both Joseph Goldstein's book as well as his talk on Dharma Seeds on feelings. So let's get to that first before I get more into talking. Okay, let me see if I have the right document here. No, this is not the one. Okay, this is the one. So this is Joseph Goldstein's talk on Dharma seeds. You see the word Dharma, and then there is the next word is seed. And as you can see here is dharmaseed.org. That's the website. And I just searched for Joseph Goldstein, and underneath that there is Again, I search for feelings. I'm telling you because if you guys want to do that on your own, uh, it's called worldly and unworldly feelings. Understanding which feelings condition defilements and which feelings lead to a deeper happiness and awakening. And this is part of a lecture he gave at Forest Refuge at Insight Meditation Society. Now, one more time, the Dharma talks. Now, what does the word Dharma mean? The Dharma means the right way of leading your life or finding your purpose. This comes from Buddha's teaching. Now, although it comes from Buddha's teachings, it is not religious. And many of you who know me, who have heard my talks, probably have guessed that I'm not a religious or religion oriented person. I was born a Hindu, I was raised a Hindu, so I do have orientation towards Indian philosophy. I was always interested in philosophy and psychology. Eventually, I took ideas from Buddha's teaching, but I don't call myself a Buddhist because I don't think it is necessary to become a religionist in order to use Buddha's teachings. In fact, I don't even think original teachings are Buddha's teachings are not religion. Those are just teachings. And Buddha thought of himself as teacher. It's really psychology, and that's how I use it. I use it for the purpose of how to make our daily life better, how to deal with difficult feelings, and how to move more towards sense of well-being. Of course, there is a spiritual aspect to the teachings, and if you're interested in that, I recommend Joseph Goldstein's book, and I'm going to show you the link to his book. I hope I'm getting the right thing. I'm not sure, but let me get to that and then this is not it. Okay, this is the one. Yeah, Mindfulness, a Practical Guide to Awakening, a book by Joseph Goldstein. A practical guide to awakening. I like the use of the word the practical guide. That makes it more like within our reach. Oh, well, I hope I showed it to you. I'm going to show it to you again just in case. I'm sorry, I seem to be fumbling with this idea of sharing today. But okay, now I hope all of you can see it. Mindfulness, a Practical Guide to Awakening. Now, speaking of feelings and speaking of wanting to move more towards sense of well-being, I want to mention another book, which is an easy read. And this book is by Dan Harris. Those of you who are familiar with American late night TV will know that Dan Harris is an anchor at a new show called Nightline. So some years ago when he was on the air, he had a panic attack. This wasn't during Nightline time, but he was reporting something else and he had a panic attack. And that, of course, shook him to his core. But then after that, it took him a long time to actually get into his search to see what works with him, what will help him to have a better sense of well being. And the way it came about is he was given the assignment to talk to different spiritual gurus. So he talked to Deepak Chopra, he talked to Eckhart Tolle, and he talks about his experiences talking to these different gurus in his talk, which he gave at Google. It's an entertaining talk. He's an anchor, so of course, the way he tells his humorous, self-deprecating story is very entertaining to listen to. And then he wrote a book. Finally, of course, he found mindfulness, and that's why I'm telling you his story. He got his teachings from Joseph Goldstein specifically, also from Sharon, ideas of loving kindness, compassion, and ideas of mindfulness, moment by moment, and how to keep your extreme anxiety under control. So you may want to read his book. I'm going to share the link to his book, and I hope I get this one right this time. I don't know why I'm not able to get this, but okay, this is not what I want. Okay, I have to share the screen. Okay. Dan Harris. Okay. Now, as you can see, Dan Harris, I want to specifically uh, tell you about, okay, there is a book he calls 10% Happier. I think it's a really cool title. And he also has a talk that says 10% Happier Talks at Google, which you can find on YouTube. So 10% Happier is a great title because, as you know, to live happily ever after in our own lifetime is rather hard. However, to become happier and with each step to increase your happiness by 10% is always possible, especially by following a route like mindfulness meditation. That's what I'm teaching you. That's what I believe in. And for people who are more into not simple faith based, but into more psychological based, more research scientific based, and not necessarily religion based. So for those people who are looking for something like that, mindfulness is a great way. And also knowing that it has been there for 2500 years and it has worked for all these thousands and thousands or millions of people should, of course, encourage us to follow this path. So having said that, now let's get into our feeling awareness meditation. Now today I'm going to ask you, in fact, to think about some time when you have felt angry. See, so far we have talked about anxiety, reducing anxiety and fears. We have done a meditation about that. Then I had one time I also talked about envy and jealousy and how sympathetic joy can be an antidote to envy and jealousy. And now today I want to start talking about anger, and then tomorrow I'll talk more about the way to think about anger. Now think about one time when you felt angry. Now behind anger or underneath anger there is either fear or hurt. So think about a way in which whatever, okay, now anger comes partly because either you felt you feel insulted, you feel threatened, you feel hurt, something like that, right? Or you're afraid of uncertainty, and a way not to feel afraid is sometimes to feel angry. It's like a flight versus fight. So you get into a fighting mode. When you're in fact afraid, you get into fighting mode, and that's anger. So think about, rationally speaking, what kind of interpretation you could hold that will be answer to this anger. And I'll give you an example. And I've told this story once, but I'll tell this again. There was this monk who was meditating in a small Thai village, in a little monastery. And there was a festival going on, and people were dancing and they were using drums. And here this monk is trying to meditate. And of course, it was very difficult to focus and concentrate. And he started getting angry. He got angry, and then he was watching his anger, observing his anger in his meditation. And as he was like feeling angry, angrier, watching, observing, suddenly he got an insight and he smiled. He, in fact, laughed and he said, all those people out there, they're all having fun. They are having a good time. Why am I sitting here and getting angry and having such a bad time? That was an insight. So his whole view of the same experience changed. So he didn't feel angry anymore. So whatever unpleasantness he was feeling, it was turned into amusement. So think about if there is anything rational that you can think about in order to change your angry feeling or angry interpretation into something else. Now, you may not actually believe in it. You may not actually feel it right now, but I'm just wondering, think about it and let it allow it to float in your mind. So now today we are going to do a meditation on feelings of anger. So today I'm just going to ask you to watch the anger. I'm not going to ask you to do anything else. So start with some incident where you felt angry, and let's start meditating. So take a few deep breaths after you close your eyes. Now start paying attention to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And now think about one incident from your past when you felt angry, and allow that anger to come to you. It may not be as intense, may not have the same form. Just start with something that has made you feel angry. Start with that. And at this point, it is safe to do it because all you're doing is sitting and meditating. So allow this anger and then say in your own mind, this is anger. And now see how this anger feels like in your body. When you have this angry feeling, how does it feel like in your body? Just pay attention, but observe. And now see if it is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And watch if it is unpleasant, just keep saying to yourself, unpleasant, unpleasant. Or it may be neutral. It is neutral, neutral. Bring your attention back to your anger and notice how it plays in your body and if it is pleasant or unpleasant. You're not actively trying to analyze, you're not actively thinking about how to respond to this anger, what to do about it. You may get some answer somewhere, you may. It will just come to you, but right now all you're doing is quieting your body and watching your anger. The wave comes, feeling the rise, and after some time it kind of washes away till the next wave comes, feeling the rise and they go down. They arise and they go down. As you're allowing the anger come to you, you may see some images from that incident. Some thoughts may just pop into your head about why you were angry or how you felt. It may just happen. Notice it, unpleasant or neutral, and then just see if anything moves, if anything changes, if your perception, interpretation, and answer changes. Just see. Otherwise, just keep noticing what's in your body, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Is it changing from unpleasant to neutral? Did any thought come to your mind and maybe your feelings change to pleasant? Who knows how your mind is playing and how the feelings are changing? Just watch and observe this drama that's going on in your mind. And now at this point, go back to your mind again and check what you're feeling. Is it still anger? Is it more in intensity? Or has it changed into something else? Label it. Watch your body. Watch the images that are coming to you. Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And bring your attention back to your breath. Watching the breath. And say the line 3 times to yourself. Breathing in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I'm okay. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I'm okay. Now, before I look at the comments, there's one thing I want to tell you. I had discussion this morning when I talked about anger. The question was, what if in certain circumstances you think that anger is actually going to be more effective, or you want to respond to anger? And without giving the circumstances, they just asked this question. If you, okay, in general, anger can be not really a positive emotion in the long run, or a constructive emotion in the long run, but it's true, sometimes it seems like you want to express anger more. It's more like being firm, or making your point, or getting the results you want. And if that's what it is, that's what will come out in your meditation, that you want to keep this anger for a purpose. In that case, as long as you're mindful of the fact, mindful of, is it hurting somebody deeply, or are you doing it for effectiveness, because in the long run the purpose is actually a bigger purpose is going to serve. Think about it, and then decide if you want to express anger or not. If there is a purpose, and if you do believe in it, it won't change when you meditate. So that part is depends on what insight you get when you meditate. Typically speaking, when it comes to interpersonal relationship with your family or closed ones, anger doesn't serve a good purpose. Even with your children, instead of anger, you may want to use firm words instead of taking angry actions. So try it. Okay, Red is thanking me and Dr. Raj. I will tell Dr. Raj, and you're welcome. Um, okay, that's fine, Red. Okay, now Eugenia wants to know, if someone cheats you of your money or wastes your time, what could be the underlying thing beneath it? Is it fear? You mean, because I said, no, it could be hurt. As I said, underneath fear, there is hurt or fear. So when somebody cheats on you, maybe you're afraid. Somebody cheating on you could have a fear element. Or if somebody wastes your time, it could be fear, but it could be also some amount of hurt, because maybe you trusted this person and this person betrayed you. So there could be a hurtful feeling and fear also. So typically, if you watch anger, you will see there's fear or hurt. And if you look at it on that level, then it's not about establishing power as much, especially in interpersonal relationship with close people. If you act out of establishing power, it is typically not constructive. So it is a complex thing, and I'll talk more about it tomorrow. Today we have run out of time, and I will see you all tomorrow, same time. Bye for now.